Big shout out right now to Cloud, who has actually done all our music stuff. It's been a while since I've mentioned him, and I changed up one of the recent book reviews to another clip that I took from this thing. So I felt I wanted to start off with that.
If you've been looking at the latest book reviews as well, there's some new audio.
Couple of new ones coming out. So here we are, Juan, breaking some COVID lockdown rules slightly.
Ooh.
I mean, we're still 1.5 meters apart, I think. So,
well, I'll call this is essential business. Essential business.
That's good enough.
So that's good enough.
Yeah, I actually mentioned, and so I did one of the book reviews, and I'm like, now due to some COVID lockdowns, I've had to change things up and whatnot. It's like totally explainable in my head, the reasons I had to, not be at our normal location indoors, and why I'm here, closer to my family and stuff. But just me thinking, I'm like, wait, I'm actually recording this outdoors. I'm really breaking everything, but I didn't explain it in the video. So
gotcha. Okay.
If you're watching that and you're like, why would COVID lockdown mean you're actually outdoors? That doesn't make any sense, Karen.
I mean,
it's just like in my head, it all lines
there's some
up.
really strange rules in the latest lockdowns going around the country that I go, okay, this, it's really not making sense anymore.
Yeah.
But
anyway, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about any of that? Welcome everyone to Mere Mortals Meanderings. We're going to be talking loosely today. Got some couple of fun things. I got a couple of clarifications on the Olympic sports that we're talking about. I'll have to grab my hat at the moment to explain a couple of things with that, as well as lookalikes. So lookalikes,
okay.
Yeah.
What do you got? We'll be discussing new watches and the little gadgets that you come along with it and how much of value they are. And I think broadly, how much you'd be spending to actually get lots of these gadgets. And long-term injuries. So
okay,
discussing some of that as well.
I'm going to kick off with the Olympic update. So we were talking about Olympic sports on the latest, I think it was the Meanderings, the one just before this. And we said, oh, yes, speed climbing. That'd be pretty cool to see in the Olympics.
It's in the Olympics. It's in the Olympics, yes.
Yeah. And not only that, so it was speed climbing, which was mixed, it was sport climbing. So it was mixed with speed climbing, mixed with bouldering, mixed with lead climbing. So it was the three of them combined. So, man, obviously showing our knowledge of the Olympics.
I saw one clip since Louis last talked about it, and it was like these two females who just smashed it up there. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's super cool.
Full-on mountain monkeys, man. They're the tree monkey people. Ground monkey over here, tree monkey. That's what they are. Kabaddi as well. So I forgot the most important part of Kabaddi, which is...
Is it pronounced Kabaddi or Kabaddi?
No, it's Kabaddi. It's
Kabaddi.
So the most important part of it is when the person is attacking into the other, and it is sort of like a 1v1 sort of thing, so almost like dodgeball in that if you throw the ball and hits them or whatever, the ball's still on their side, so they get to attack. So it's like that back and forth. You have to take one single breath. I mentioned to you this afterwards, but when you're going in, you take one single breath, and then you have to say, Kabaddi, 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 to the ref to prove that you're doing it in one breath. That's the most coolest part of the sport, and I forgot to mention that. So,
that whole thing of doing it on one breath seems pretty intense. Like it just ups the level of what you're doing.
That's crazy. And my dad actually did used to play it. He was saying it was pretty cool. So.
He used to play it.
Yeah, just with like his friends.
Did they have really positions or something, or is it like?
He didn't explain it too much. I mean, it was like 50 years ago for him.
Yeah, okay.
Damn, think about that. Half a century ago for him. But he was saying it was pretty fun.
It seems like a cool sport. I feel like with the weather thing, the breath thing, it would get to a point where you just run out of breath.
Yeah. You just give up.
I'd love to see someone being like passed out, just like a breath, and be like, just go away.
And imagine, you're holding in there, you're trying to do it, trying to touch them, and you're running out of breath, and then that's when you need that burst of energy to escape. Them clutching you, full on tackling. Like that would. Man, I can just imagine that being so intense.
They should like go even more extreme and mix up a little bit of UFC with it. So you can't. It's not just tackling them on the ground. You also have to like tap them out into submission. Break the leg. So you have to get across the line. But if you break your legs, then you lose.
Yeah. I wanted to give a shout out to Seven as well. I fucking hate your app. I fucking hate trying to find the Olympics here in Australia.
Never even use it.
It's so I just wanted to show my dad that mishap they had where the boat was in front of the start of the triathlon. So all I wanted was a 10-second clip. Went onto YouTube. Oh, there's a couple of videos here. Oh, there are just, photographs that people explaining what happened. Those videos. So obviously the videos are getting taken down. go like, all right, where else can I find it? Oh, I'll go on to, a couple of news websites or something. They'll have that clip. Go on there. Oh, this video is not available in your location. Fuck. All right. So I keep going, trying to get, and then it's like, okay, it seems like the only place is through the 7 app. Go and do that, and it's just fucking. I hated the whole experience, man.
Did you have to sign up or something?
Yeah, you had to sign up, but there was no showing of what's actually going to be in there, so I don't know if the clip is going to actually be there in there, if it's easily findable. My dad actually has signed up, and he's got it on the TV, so I'm glad he did that. But yeah, just the whole experience of it has really pissed me off. I used to be a somewhat accepting of like, oh, okay.
You're a very disgruntled man when things don't work easily.
I think I'm actually pretty okay in some respects, but recently I've just gotten to the stage where it's like, fuck this, man. Like, Spotify, fuck off with your paying premium, and they still give you ads. What's up with that? Like, that is bullshit.
I don't know. I think it's like the general expectation.
YouTube. We have the premium account on YouTube. Then they put a thing in front of me asking me to do a survey or notifying me of some new... Yeah, it popped up, man. I was so angry.
Phone or desktop?
No, on my phone.
Wow.
I was so angry, man. I just wanted to send an email going like, how fucking dare you? I'm paying you to get rid of all of this shit for me, and you still do this, man.
This is Karen going straight into the 60s already. Like it's 29 turning into 60. You're getting so angry about a survey presenting in front of you.
Yeah. This is my midlife crisis.
It's weird that they would share that across, though, with the fact that we're paying for it, like, particularly being premium, we have to show you no ads.
That's sort of my expectation. Look, once again, it's the onus is on me now. If they start doing that more, the onus is on me. How much do you want to use YouTube? How much, etc.
Well, I guess the other one that happened, I thought it was one of our most popular video, which was of the Gulag Archipelago book review, where we actually got a YouTube little notification saying that they'd not banned it, restricted it.
Restricted it. It's
under 18-year-olds wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of get that. I'm like, okay, sure. The topic at hand is pretty rough. I didn't think that there was anything in the topic itself that you were talking about.
I wasn't swearing. I mean, it's talking about, people getting murdered and torture and horror. So,
but in the actual metadata, like for people who don't actually put out YouTubes and whatnot, it actually asks you, is this for kids or is this like an 18 plus? And we put basically for all of our content, it's adult content. So it's... I don't even know if already...
Do we? No.
Yeah, we do. We don't put it as to be... Is it kid-friendly? Is what we put. We put no. We put it's not kid-friendly.
That's correct, yeah.
And so I don't know if all of our videos are like that, or this one particular one was like, okay, now we're purely really restricting it for people underage.
Yeah, and it's like, what triggered that? I imagine it was someone watching it, reporting it somehow, and then it goes to their automatic, and then it's like, oh, gulags...
Off it goes.
Yeah. Not that we care at all. Like, I have zero care about that.
No. But that to me, and this is more talking about the whole of freedom of words and speech and of what you're posting out. Sometimes I kind of think, ooh, okay, like I see it there. I think I recently heard that YouTube Sky News Sky News on YouTube had also been blocked, or at least some of the videos have been blocked. And I went, oh man, that's a little bit extreme. When you start kind of highlighting things that shouldn't be posted or shouldn't be talked about at any type of medium and platform, I started getting a little bit doesn't sit right with me. To sort of block that.
Yeah, well, you've already mentioned podcasting 2.0 and the value for value, which is it's part of it, but there's sort of is separate from the freedom of speech part of it as well. But yeah, man, just watching how I suppose Apple and Spotify are creating these areas where it's like you can only go to there.
Well, it's not just them. I mean, yes, you're talking podcasting, but there's like everything everywhere. Everything.
News sites are doing that with conglomerating, drawing everything in. And it's like, we don't want you to leave here. Which, fine, do whatever you want, but I don't want to play part of that anymore.
No.
I think
it reminds me, it's twofold, right? It's like you don't want to play a part of that, but that's the world's game. It's like, okay, well, how do you try to distance yourself from the game that is associated with everything you do? Like, that's just unless you go to the extreme and you become one of those hermits that lives out in the forest and you don't plug into the energy and the water and just live on your own. Okay, cool. Okay, maybe you can get away with that. But is it associated with having a very normal, like, societal connection with humans? Probably not. So there's going to be some part where you're going to have to be playing the game with those larger entities.
And even then, so say you're going down the, let's just say, privacy route. I did that once for a while, where I was really concerned about my privacy. I didn't want people having it. Not that I was particularly doing anything illegal, but, I was sort of reading the Gulag Archipelago, and it was like, oh, okay, even if you're not doing bad things yourself, you can still get trapped up in a fucked up communist system, whatever it is, where you start, backbiting, selling out your friends, so you don't go to the Gulag, but then you go to the Gulag anyway. But I was just thinking, so I was doing things like I was only paying cash with everything. I'm not sure if I used VPNs. I was getting close to using VPNs and just all this totally unnecessary stuff.
Because they can still track you.
And I was just thinking, the fact that I would be typing stuff into Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever, being like, how to make sure no one sees my privacy and stuff. That's probably like pinging up radars.
Oh, 100%.
Somewhere going, oh, like this guy wants to be private. What's he up to? Let's
even more,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I like
drawing it back to yourself.
It's always a thing of like, people use VPNs or they'll use other methods to not be seen while they're online. But, then you think back to it, well, who's providing the internet to you? It's the providers. Telstra, Optus, Vodafone, whatever it may be, right? That's giving you the internet. All of that's tracked. All of that is 100% tracked. So, sure, you can kind of scramble your IP, you can scramble what you're using, but rest assured, you're still being followed completely on what you're pinging, where it's coming from. So, that's how they picked up many years ago, when there was, large Bitcoin mining, and there was, I think it was a dude who was doing it out of his library, out of his random library, and they found him because he was using it through that process. I can't remember his name. But yeah, like, you can still be found as... And that sometimes gives me a little...
If they want it bad enough, they'll find it.
That's right. Yeah. I think something just happened recently, actually, to someone that I used to work with. I'll tell you more of the details explicitly later, not out of the podcast. But basically, he was trying to get a position, and they were a little bit in two minds about letting him come back to work. And it's because he sent a message a couple of, after the date when he basically stopped working within the system. He sent a message.
Okay.
It wasn't like anything harmful or anything like that. He just sent it to somebody else. It could be like, oh, hey, I'm in here, still sending some emails.
So he still had access to
the system, basically.
Where he shouldn't have
basically,
been.
Yeah. Just sent a little chat. Basically, like as if you send me a messenger chat.
Yeah.
And in going back to work, they basically picked him up on that to say, oh, you sent a message when you shouldn't have been able to. And they're like totally considering whether he should be able to work or not. And sometimes you think, when you're jabbering, when you're chatting to people, messaging each other, it's pretty... Dude, everything is tracked. They know about it. If they want to know about it, they will find it.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, something just recently, just so I don't forget. So I got a new watch.
Your watch, yeah.
Got a new watch.
Let's
so my birthday...
technology talk.
Yeah. My birthday was just recently. Thank you.
Look at this old 29-year-old
old. At least I'm not 29 turning 60. 29 probably turning 28. But some cool stats about this. So this watch is a little bit, I'll put it up there. It's a little bit of a backwards
now you do like
movement.
your watches. This has been a
I've always liked watches. Yep.
Not fascination, but you have had stages where you've been like, oh, I want to get this watch. For me, on the outside, being like, I see no discernible difference between this.
And I've gone from the classic mechanical look to the digital look. Now, this one's a little bit of a
connoisseur.
Step... Yeah, there's a little bit of a step backwards from the digital nature because it's simpler. It looks simpler. It's a much more simple plastic
It looks
setup.
sturdier than the
other one. But some of the highlight things. So what do I like in watches now? Because it's obviously changed from a long time back.
Yeah.
But when I was getting a real gripe with my previous watch, and it was easy when I was it made it so obvious when I was doing the Kokoda challenge. It didn't last. Like the battery didn't last. And that frustrated me because I was like, I want to see the full thing.
Too many messages as well? I thought you had it connected where it was like pinging off all the time.
That's still doing that.
Yeah.
I can turn that off. That's more of a setting of all the Bluetooth ones. I can turn that off if I want to. But this particular one, I'll let you guess. It's down to, I'll say, 80% charge at the moment. Mm-hmm. How many hours would you say of battery life this particular Garmin Instinct has left?
Well, see... And this is a new one.
This is a new one.
Okay.
Brand new one.
And how old is the model? Like this year?
I'd say a year.
Okay.
Year old.
Oh, man. I feel a watch should at least last a day. And if it's at 80% now, I feel like I would expect of a new one to be able to last 5 days.
Wow. Okay. All right. So now I'll give you a couple more details. It's got a lot of settings. Right. It's got a lot of cool settings. It's a little bit simple, but a lot of settings. Like you just have. I went for a walk the other day, and it does basically GPS for everything really easily. Compass and weather checks and whatever, all the normal stuff that you'd expect. But no, it's currently got 21 days left of battery.
Nice,
so I was like, yes, this is what I want.
That's
so
good.
it can go, because it's also solar powered. It can be 30 days if you just use it normally, or 30 hours at like absolute max power, like using absolute.
Using it like a smartphone.
This is what I need. Like if I needed to go for ages, if I need to go for a month away, cool. Don't need to take a charge or anything. I went, that sold me. So I think the battery life, it's almost like going full circle to the old mechanical watches, because they'd be lasting forever, ages. So it's that I like that aspect of the fact that, okay, this is going to last for a long time without having to charge while still doing everything that I want. And I went, fucking sign me up. This is me. This is me.
Good.
So I would recommend the Garmin Instinct Solar to people.
Yeah,
Not sponsored by them,
nice.
but if Garmin wants to sponsor me, feel free. Send me a couple more. As a watch connoisseur, I'll take more of them for you.
Nice. Okay, that's very good. Who do you look like, Juan? I've never. Have people commented on people who you look like?
No, not really. Maybe one, like a particular soccer player. Who was it? There was one soccer player. Maybe.
Slightly.
Maybe.
Not too much,
yeah. But not really. Not a lot of comparisons to somebody else.
Yeah.
Not at least that's been talked about.
Yeah.
Yourself got plenty. Johnny Sins. Turn around, good sir. There he is, Johnny Sins. So
Johnny Sins at your cervix.
Johnny Sins for sure.
So,
who was that recent interview you had? You had an interview with, or a conversation with
Pete from Aussie English. Yeah, that was a good one. You look at.
Is that current? No.
No. That was a pretty funny one. So when I think the first one I ever got was, I keep forgetting his name. Not Prince Harry, his brother, Prince William. William. This was when I had hair, so you could definitely see my larger forehead at the time. Wispy hair, sort of, starting to bald. It was not super strong hair game like Juan's got over here. Damn Latino roots.
Yep.
So that was one that sort of came up. I think it was mostly the high forehead more than anything else. The regal forehead is what I would say.
The regal forehead.
So I didn't mind that being compared with royalty. Is not the best looking dude. He's not the worst looking either. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
This shirt, so fitting as well.
Wait, weren't we in Japan and someone said this? Do you remember when we were in Japan and someone was like...
They said Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. Harry Kane. That's the other one.
That was a left field one. I wasn't expecting that. No, so this jumper that I have here actually is from my brothers.
Your brothers. Yep.
And so this is a classic for my brother. So him and his friends I look very much like my dad. So of course, my brother's friends started calling him Johnny Sins. So my dad got the nickname of Johnny Sins. I had hair at this stage, so it wasn't being passed on to me yet. And my brother thought it'd be pretty funny to get on his high school jersey, the 2015. When did 2015 that he graduated? Johnny Sins. So he puts it on, and now this is a conundrum for the teachers, because once it's on the shirt, there's no stopping it. Like, you can't tell him to not wear his jersey.
That happened in Springwood. That happened at our school. There was people because the words were a little bit too extreme.
Risque
which
or something.
I was like, well, why even let it print in the first place?
That's what my thoughts were. If you're letting it getting through the printing process, then you shouldn't have any qualms afterwards.
So, the onus was on you before that.
Yeah, agreed. So that's where I was like, man, he's got him now. Because if they comment, it's like, oh, what's wrong with Johnny Sins, teacher? And then as soon as the teacher, makes reference to the porn star nature of it, teacher watches porn and you faggot. So it was funny. And so the moniker has been passed on to me. I think can't remember if I talked recently, but when we were out and about, just partying, some guy on the dance floor was like, Johnny Sins, calling out to me. It's like, yeah, I have to embrace it. I am Johnny Sins now.
No, I would say that's going to have to be your closest comparison of what you look like. For sure.
Nowadays for sure. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was funny, and I just I've been meaning to wear this jersey for a while just to show it off.
Well, it's good because it's a cold morning today. It's a cold morning, so it's definitely coming into play.
Definitely.
Anything else to me, Andron?
The other one I have on here was when we're talking about our worst jobs, I'm going to add a comedian to that list. I think
comedian.
Yeah, I think for me, being a comedian would suck. Because the couple of times I've seen comedians on podcasts, they have to always be on. I mean, not always. There's a couple of comedians I've watched where they have to try and make a joke out of everything. And man, that seems so tiring. That just seems like...
That would be really tiring, yeah.
And tiring for the people around
I see that sometimes on the Joe Rogan when he talks to some of the comedians. Some of them are just like, everything they're trying to say is like, funny.
Everything has to be made into it. And I would get sick of that. I would get sick of being around a person like that as well. It's just like trying to have a serious conversation and they keep dragging it back to something. And it's like, when are you serious? What don't you take?
I think if you're a confident comedian, though, you can be pretty good and not always have to. Well, it sounds like, it's not like they're always not on, but I'm thinking people like Chris Rock, Joe Rogan, there's a couple others. Like Dave Chappelle. It's not like they're even trying to be funny. They're just their personality and the way they interact and speak is pretty funny. And then when they go and talk and say a joke, it's like, oh man, that is amazing.
I think that's the thing that would drive me from not being a comedian, because I don't think I've got that innate funniness, that Steven funniness level where it's just they say something and it's just funny because you want it to be like a force funny. I would have to force it.
Comedians who are force funny, it would be hard. I wouldn't say it's like the worst job, but
it's I don't think I'd make a good living out of it. I think I'd quit pretty soon.
Maybe. I'm just thinking like another terrible one would be, and I don't know what exact year level, but being a teacher of like a youngish class, like where they can be really, really annoying kids, but not old enough to kind of understand what's going on and like to really punish them, to be like, no, well, you're not getting, lunch break or whatever. So I don't know what age that would be. Maybe 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. So they're big enough that they'll probably throw a chair and do tantrums. But it's not acceptable to like throw them by the leg out the door or something like that. Like, you can't start a 55 with a 10-year-old. That's not going to happen. Maybe that would be like a terrible. When I
was in grade 7, I was in so that's 12 years old here in Australia. Used to be out. Still is. I think the age has still changed. It's just the year that high school starts is now grade 7 instead of grade 8.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that. Anywho, when I was in grade 7, I was in a 5, 6, 7 class, so there was 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and 12-year-olds, me. And our teacher got punched by one of the 10-year-old kids, and it was just like, it's sort of funny in a way, it's comical, but he was just sort of like flabbergasted. It was like, because he'd been a teacher for, 20 years or something.
I can imagine all the kids being even more flabbergasted when the teacher punched the kid as well.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, at what point are you allowed to just deck this little shit? Because he was an absolute little shit. Just a troublemaker from beginning to end. I don't know why he was put in like because we were in like the smart kid class, I guess. And yeah, he was just a troublemaker. I think his name was Cameron.
I'm just imagining, 50, 60 years ago when that equivalent would mean that like the teacher would come around with a ruler or something and just absolutely smack you.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Right in the back of the head.
Are we missing that, Karen? Are we missing the paddle?
I think I would say that having a breakable ruler. So like, not using a metal one on the back of the head, but something that breaks. And so what sort of level. So even if you get really mad and you break it over the kid's head, then it's like, shit, like I just broke my ruler. Yeah. Damn it.
I'd move away from the punishment, but to like still cause some angst.
Yeah, why not just make him do like a 36-kilometer hike?
No, well, that's exactly like I was thinking. Like I would genuinely
you have to race
like,
me.
Yeah, if you were being really annoying, I'd be like, okay, 5 push-ups, like mandated 5 push-ups.
Yeah,
you gotta go do it. And then if you don't want to do it, okay, now it's 10. And if you don't do it, or like to the third level, it's like, okay, everybody in the class is doing it or something like that. And then everybody's suffering because of one person.
I'm not a fan of those ones though. I gotta say, when you're punishing everyone for the fault of one person, I mean, unless it's like you're joining the SEALs to be part of a team, but you don't get much of a choice when you're at high school.
That's good. Oh, soccer teams is good to do that.
Soccer teams, I can sort of understand it, but even then, I don't want to be punished.
Karen was the one making the team do the push-ups.
I did it once. I do remember that once. Yeah. I went down on my arms too early because I thought you were allowed to take a break between sort of doing the planks and then the push-ups, and I went down. And then, I
think my feeling was always the fact of like, I don't want to make my whole team have to restart this again. So definitely, I'm gonna like that pressure of not failing the team or the group was stronger than me maybe individually. So I guess that's sort of the way that it can work, which, should be the way people grow up in society, right? It's like the strength to do it for a wider group than just yourself. Not for the glory of oneself. Glory. Strange word. Very old word.
Check out the
Mice and
Mishima.
Men. Of Mice and Men?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It was the Mice and Men. They talk about it in the Yukio Mishima book as well. Or the sailor who fell from grace with the sea. Yeah, that was... I was as I was reading it, I was just I was going, man. No, it was the
Mice and Men?
No, it wasn't. It was the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just, especially like the sort of feudal Japan type era, or getting out of just after World War II, where they were going,
for the glory,
got their ass kicked, losing the samurai days. Yeah, glory is a weird word now. I think it's got a lot of connotations
very analogous to fame. Yeah.
Yeah, not if it's something you're really striving for. So watch out.
Watch out.
I'll get you.
All right, very good. Anything else for the meanderings?
No, I think we'll keep it there for today. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Take us away then.
All right, Mere Mortals. Thank you for joining. Mere Mortal Lights. I'm sorry, we are the Mere Mortals. You're the Mere Mortal Lights. Thank you for joining us up into this stage. In future, I'm going to have a couple more stronger recommendations of what you can do. But for the moment, if you can like, subscribe, whatever, if you're watching the video, if you're listening to audio, I would recommend checking out another audio platform if you're on Spotify, especially.
Give them a go. Give them a trial.
There's new ones out there. If you look up Podcasting 2.0 apps, they're pretty good. But even other apps in general, they just have some features which you'd be surprised by. Yeah.
That's right.
So,
all right, folks. That's it. Bye now.
Current out.